Hi. Yes, I hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, no problem. Sorry, my health is okay. I I got some medicine and everything, so no problem. Summer, but um, it's really cold. Yeah, it was really, really hot in Korea, and when I come back to France, it was like 18 degrees, and yeah, I got cold. Yes, I was in Korea. I try. I try. Yeah, so my name is Lola. I'm 24 years old. I'm a student in engineering, climate and environment in France. And so I live in Paris and I try to travel whenever I can. Yeah, I still have 1 year to do master two. So yeah. Wow. Yeah. Oh, I don't know yet. I I can't do that. No, I don't have secrets. It's public knowledge. No, not right now. Actually, I took a gap year this year, so I didn't do much except learning new languages and traveling. And so next year I have to go back to studies for at least 1 year. And yeah, I'm going to find like a part-time job to have some money, but not something great, just go to McDonald's or something. I think it's okay. Everything can be hard, but if you like it or if you have the capacities to do it, it's not that hard. And I think anyone can have the capacity to do something. So you just have to find what you're good at. Yeah, true. Yeah. Near Paris. It's a Parisian university, but it's not inside Paris. Do you know? Yeah, yeah, I need to take the subway, but that's all. Yeah. No, it's not that far. It's like half an hour from Paris. Yeah. So I can speak French, of course, English. I can speak a bit of German and Korean, a bit of Korean. A few months ago during my gap year, but I'm not good yet. I'm good at grammar, but I'm not good at learning vocabulary. It's so different from Western, yeah, from English or French or German. So yeah, I learned it at school. We have to learn two languages in France, in middle school and high school. So English is mandatory, and German was my second language. No, I don't know anything about that. Well, in France, the good thing about France is that it's a really mixed country. So we have all nationalities in France. Well, people from all over the world came to France and got the French nationality. So now they're French, but we are all mixed blood. So we have people from Vietnam, China, all over Europe. We have a lot of people from Africa, and so everywhere, So, like for example, in my family, I have a Vietnamese side, and I also have a Polish side. So everyone is mixed. Yes, yes, and that's funny because when you travel, especially in Asia, when you meet someone Asian and you ask where they are from, people will answer, "Oh, like I was in Korea." People said, "Oh, obviously I'm from Korea," but for me it's not obvious because we have a lot of people who looks Asian in France that are French, not Chinese or anything, because they were born in France and raised in France, so they are French. So yeah, we for me, when I see someone, I can't say, "Oh, he's from this country." It can be from France. Yeah. Yes, yes, especially in the USA, I think. Yeah. Yes, Paris is really expensive. Um, well, I think it's less expensive than London, for example. For example, housing. In London, uh, it's way more expensive than Paris. Even for tourists, like a hostel in England, in London, it's like £35, and in France, it's gonna be a bit less, like 20 to 25 euros. So it's a bit less. Um, and Paris is really expensive also to buy anything. If you want to buy food, it's expensive, especially when you're a tourist because you always go to a restaurant, and a restaurant is expensive. So when I travel, I always try to buy some traditional food or food from the country I travel to. If you do that in France, French food is really expensive. Yeah. Yeah. In France, you can find some like an apple is really cheap, but fruit that you have to import are always expensive. Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, how many countries I travel to? I tried to do a list yesterday, and it goes up to 20. Um, I went to Africa once, and it was in Tunisia, so the north of Africa. I went to like countries like Turkey and Israel, and a lot of European countries, and also in Asia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Korea, but mostly European country because when you're in Europe, it's really easy to travel inside Europe because it's really cheap. So I traveled a lot in Europe. Oh, wait a minute. I have to connect my computer. Sorry for that. I didn't have any battery anymore. So yeah, so I traveled to a lot of countries and especially Europe. I want to travel more outside Europe because, in Europe, the good thing is each country is really different. Especially if you go from Eastern Europe to Western Europe, it's really different. Or South and North, it's really different. Um, but I really want to go to countries like South America or South Africa, or yeah. So I want to travel everywhere. Yeah. Um, you asked about what do we think about India? What do we know? Okay. In France, at school, we only study about Europe history. We don't know much about other things. The only time we talk about Asia, for example, it's when we talk about colonization a bit. So India, we talk about it a bit in history about colonization in Great Britain, but we mostly study what was important for France and what touched France. Like, for example, I studied about Great Britain colonization just because I was in a special class, which was studying more English, so more about English history. But normally in France, we don't study that much about India because France never had a real connection with India. So in school, we don't learn about anything about it. Um, and I guess that we don't hear much in the news either. We only hear like things like when you have a big problem, but like everywhere in the world, it's the same. If you have a real big problem, we will hear about it, but not that much. France is, I think, has a problem in talking about other countries sometimes. Um, so no, we don't hear a lot about India. Oh, restaurant, yeah. So yeah, I have a few friends who went to India for an internship, and they really loved it, especially because it's way cheaper. So you can do a lot of things that you can't do in France because it's too expensive. In India, my friends just took a scooter or a motorcycle for really cheap price for a day and went to the countryside and had really fun. In France, we can't do that; it's too expensive. Um, and so my friends who went to India last year were really liked it, and my brother was supposed to go this year too, but his internship was not accepted, so he had to change destination. But yeah, I have some friends who went to India. My family and I, we want to go to someday. And about restaurants, we have a lot of Indian restaurants in France. A lot. It's really popular. Yeah. It was not in a university. They went to a company. I don't know which one. I think it was a French company, but in India, like AXA or something like that. But it was not a university. It was not just an internship. I think it was. Oh, I don't know. I can check. It was. I don't really know. And they changed city actually, I think. So I don't really know which one exactly. Yes, 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 yeah. We have actually, I think we have all kinds of region because we have a lot of different restaurants that are most of the time there it's written like where it comes from, if it's from Bangladesh or not. But we have a lot of Pakistanis restaurants, and yeah, so I think we have different origins. But I think you can, yeah. Um, no, not really. Actually, I was a host. This year I couldn't host because I was back at my parents' house. I was a host last year when I was in Ireland. And I must say, I was doing an internship, but I was not really busy. So I had time to spend with my guests. Yeah. I didn't have anyone from India at that time, uh, especially because I was in a small city. Well, it's a big city for Ireland, but a small city compared to any other countries, Galway. And we had mostly American people, French people, or European people, yes. Um, Not a lot from Asia or Africa. We didn't have any African people. And Asian, it was mostly Japanese. Yeah. So I think, well, I met people in France that were like their parents were from India, but they were born in France and everything. They were French, so it's not the same. I never met someone really like traveling from India and be a tourist in France. I never hosted. Yeah. Yes. Multiple. In Europe, you have many low-cost companies like EasyJet or Ryanair, things like that are really, really cheap. But if it's really cheap if you don't have a suitcase, if you only have a small suitcase with you, it's really cheap. But if you want to put a suitcase in the plane, a checked luggage, it's gonna be more expensive. So low cost is good if you travel light. And if you don't travel light, you can take any other companies like Air France if you're in France, or Lufthansa if you're in Germany, or any of these because they are lowering the prices because they know that it's a competition, so they have to lower the prices. So everything can be cheap. You just have to you have a lot of last minute trip or a lot of if you do it really in advance it's going to be cheap. If you do it at the last minute you can find something cheap too. And you have in summer it's a bit more expensive, but if you travel during the week it's really not expensive. In summer in degrees in France. um, In Paris, normally it's supposed to be over 30 degrees, like 32, 34. But this year, this week especially, it was like 20 degrees. So climate change. It depends on the year, and it depends on the week. But normally it's hot in summer, but not humid. So it's not the same than in India or in China or yeah. Um, if you go to other countries in Europe, it's the same climate, I think. Uh, Maybe not in Great Britain and Ireland. It's a bit different. When I was in Ireland last year, it was hot in May, but in summer it was like 25 degrees, not more, never more. Yeah. And yes, a lot of rain. Yes. In France, we have some storms sometimes in summer, but not not a lot of rain. Oh, drinking water. I think we have a lot of water underground, a lot of sources. And actually, in France, you can drink water. You can drink tap water without a problem. It's really good water. And I think yes, yes, we have a lot of rivers. We have a lot of underground water, and it doesn't really rain in summer, but it rains during the year. So we have a lot of water. Yes, we have no problem for water. Um, no, in France we don't really care, but we like getting tanned. Oh, an umbrella when it rains, yes. Especially in fall. In the fall, we it rains a lot. Um, but most of the time it's okay because it's not like a real shower, it's light. It's quite light when it rains. It can rain for a long time, like the whole day, but it's not too much, if you're just passing by in the street, it's gonna be okay. Yes, I travel to a lot of places in France because in France, we have a great thing that is we have a lot of different um, landscapes. We have mountains, we have the sea, we have plains, we have a lot of things. So it's really nice to travel all over in France, and we have different countries, different borders with different countries. So if you go to the region which is near Germany, so Alsace, near Strasbourg, for example, it's very different from if you go to the region near Italy, like Nice. So it's really nice to travel inside France because you see things completely different. Food is completely different if you go to different regions. So it's really nice. Yes. No, when I was young, I used to travel, well, just go on vacation with my parents all the time. And we would go often to my grandparents' house, but also to other places, just camping or spending 1 week or two some places. And so I traveled to a lot of places. And then also, when I started studying after high school, I had many friends coming from all over France in Paris. And so sometimes I would just go to their place for vacation or anything. So yeah, I just traveled like that. School travel. Oh, scooter. Um, I think it's mostly in Italy. Mostly in Italy. They have one scooter which is called Vespa, and they use it a lot, and it's really popular. Yeah, it's cute, but yeah, it doesn't go very fast. I prefer a motorcycle. I don't travel a lot by scooter because scooter you can't do long distances. You can only stay in the city. And if I stay in the city, I just travel by foot and or subway. So I don't travel a lot by scooter. I think in Italy it's more popular. Um, well, in summer it's okay. In summer it's okay. Yes, or in summer or spring it's okay. But it's not really popular in France, I guess. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes, in France we have that in all the big cities. Yeah, like Paris, we have it. Lyon also, Marseille, I think they have it. In all the big cities, you will find it. It's really cheap. For example, if I want to have a pass for 1 year, it's gonna be like maybe 20 or 30 euros for 1 year, and you can use the bicycle as much as you want. So it's really cheap. And I think I don't know if you take it just for one trip, but it's really, really cheap. So it's really good, especially in France. The cities are not really big, you know. Um, so Paris is like it's not really big actually. You know, you can take the bicycle and go from one part of Paris to the other side. It's gonna be okay, you know. So it's really, really good. And especially when there's no subway or anything at night, you can take the bicycle. So yeah, it's really, really nice. And if you're a tourist in summer or in spring, it's really nice because you can go on near the river and see all the important places of Paris and with the bicycle. So yeah, it's good. Yes. Yes. No, not on the side. Actually, you have a lot of um, bicycle stations where you can park your bicycle. It's, yeah. Yes, yes, you can find it. Or if you like, there is a station for this bicycle every I don't know every street, you know. So if if one is fully booked or fully occupied, you just have to look at the map and find the nearest that has you have on the application. You can know, oh, this one there is one place free, and so I can go to this one. Yeah, there are a lot in Paris, so yes. Yes, that's really, really good. Yeah. Yes, well, the bicycles are not that great, but it's really handy. Yes. Yes, that's true. It's hard because we have a lot in Paris, so it's hard to maintain every bicycle in good condition, but most of the time you can find a good one each time. Yeah. The subway, like transportation, the cars. Um, I don't know about other countries actually, so I can't compare because I never took the car in other countries, except Ireland. In Ireland, it was quite the same price, a bit less expensive, I think, than France. But in France, it's always fluctuating, so the price changing. Oh, I don't know the names in English actually, so I don't know. Like it's the difference we have unloaded and loaded, I think, or something like that. Uh, we have different kinds of petrol, so I don't really know the differences in English. Yes, we have that. We have mostly diesel or petrol. but nowadays they want to stop some, like, so the petrol is not really always good for environment, so they want to stop, um, well, they want to stop selling old cars that uses it, because it's not good for the environment. So in Paris there is a law where you can't use cars that were made before, I think, 1998 or something like that in Paris during the day. And yeah, so it's changing a bit. They want to do more for the environment. So yeah. And we have so free bicycle where you pay a bit, but it's almost free. And we have the same thing with cars. You can take a car for just half an hour, and it's electric cars. And there are a lot of places where you can park it. And yeah, you just take a car to travel in Paris, and yeah, it's very cheap too. Well, they don't use most of the, like, it's a myth. They use a lot of solar panels in Germany, but it's not the majority of their energy, yeah. But it's still a good part of it. In France, we tried to install solar panels, but it didn't really work well. So, like, some big buildings will have solar panels on top of it. In Paris, we had that sometimes. But for example, if you want to have some in your house, it's going to be really expensive. So people don't really use it. But in Germany, you can find it in a lot of places, and it's less expensive. In Paris, it's always cloudy because of pollution. It's not compared to other places in the world, it's not like China or anything, but it's surely more cloudy in Paris than in other places in France. But if you go out of Paris, even in the suburb of Paris, it's less cloudy. Uh, but I think solar panels could really work in the south of France because it's sunny most of the time, or even not in the south, but Lyon, for example, is not really south, but I think it would work better because it's less cloudy. Yeah. Yes. 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 Yeah. Yes. 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 Okay. Yeah. So it's um yes, you put it in common, and yes, we don't have that in France. We don't really use solar panels, and I think the government gives you a bit of money if you take a solar panel. Like, it's cheaper but it's not very popular, and we don't have a whole plan like you do about energy from solar panels. So right now it's not really popular, but I think they will try in the near future to change a bit because they decided to get rid of all our nuclear plants. And so we need other kinds of energies. So yeah, I think we will try. Yes, 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 true. Yes. Yeah, that's good because environment right now it's not in a good shape, you know. We can see it in Paris, you know, normally it's 35 degrees and right now it's 25 because of climate change, you know. So, yes. Yeah. Yes. It's really rainy right now in India, right? It's rainy season. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. 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 In France we have that, but our rainy season is mostly um in winter. So we have a lot of floods in France, but mostly in February sometimes. And especially for the last few years because of climate change too, because it's a bit warmer in winter than before, so it gets less snow and more rain. And if you are near a river or anything, it can get flooded really easily, especially in the south of France. So we have that problems, but it's never the same scale that we can hear about in India, you know. Yes, 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 yes. So living near a river is not really good. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. It's concrete. Yes. Uh, no, no, concrete most of the time. Yes. We don't have a lot of wooded houses nowadays. Like new houses are never with wood, I think. Mostly concrete, yes. Some people are trying to do like, um, you know, there's a trend these days to go in the countryside and build your house with the thing that you can find, you know. So sometimes it's with wood or stones or things like that. But in most of the places, it's concrete. Yes. I don't really know about wood. We still have a lot of wood in France, but we don't really use wood for the same, like for constructed in a house. No, it's also because it's like the isolation and everything is better with concrete. You can do a lot of things. If you have a concrete wall, you can put some things more on it, but the the house is made out of concrete most of the time. Yes. Yes, true. Yes. Well, in France, we don't like when I was in Vietnam, I saw these kinds of houses, really narrow, but with a lot of floors. In France, we don't have things like that, actually. Even buildings, apartment buildings, they are never really high. In Paris, only maybe 5 or 6 floors, but not more. And houses are most of the time just 2 floors, not more. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Well, yes. I don't really know where it comes from, but it was really strange for me to see that in Vietnam, where houses are really narrow and high, and even if there is a lot of space around them, it's really narrow. It's really strange. Um, and we don't have these kinds of things in France. We have houses that are, uh, yeah, big on the floor, yeah, and not really high. Yes, yes. In France, we don't have as much land as in Australia, but we still have a lot of land, and especially in the countryside. In the countryside, the land is not really expensive. You can have a house for really cheap prices compared to Paris or in the suburb of Paris or big cities. So if you want to buy a house in the countryside in France, it's really cheap. Yeah, most of the time, in most of the countries, I don't need a visa. Most of the countries, I just need, if I stay less than 30 days, and some other countries are less than 90 days, I don't need anything. Um, if I want to work, it's a bit different. I need a visa, but most of the time it's easy to get in most of the countries because the French passport is good. Um, yes, it's not like German passport, but it's nearly like it. And if I want to stay in Europe, I can work anywhere. In the European Union, I don't need anything. I'm not just French, I'm European, right now. So I can work anywhere in Europe and without a problem. Yes. Yeah, yes, that's really nice. Even Sweden, if you come from Europe, it's free actually. It's only expensive if you come from over outside of Europe. But yeah, if I want to study anywhere in Europe, it's gonna be free for me. In Yes, yes, it's really good. Actually, it was always free in France. So for us, it's like normal to be free. University is normal to be free in France. Even for foreigners, if you come to France, it's going to be free for you. But in Europe, they stated that everything has to be free for European people. So yeah, it's really good. I can study anywhere. No, no. Yes. In France, no, you don't pay the university, but living in France is expensive for certain countries. It's not as expensive as paying for the university, but it can be really expensive to live in Paris, for example. So we have a lot of student places that are not really expensive, but we have a lot of students, so it's hard to get a student house. So um, but it's never going to be like in the US where you pay sometimes like 25,000 USD for a semester or anything. No, we don't, yeah. Like in France, sometimes people have to take a bank loans, but not often. Most of the time, your parents can help you live, or you can still live at your parents' house if they don't live far away, or you can have a small job and earn a bit of money and pay your rent. But if you have to take a bank loan for your studies, a student loan is really good in France because you don't pay back until you work. So if you don't work, you don't have to pay back directly. You can take your time finding your work, finding your job, and everything. So it's not like the US, and it's easier to pay back. Yes, yes, I think so. Yes. Yes, yes. Well, if we travel outside of Europe, we have to pay most of the time. But it's not like the US. Yes. Well, it's what to go from France to Australia, it's like 24 hours. So, yeah. Yes, yes, yeah. Yes. And Europe is a really good place to live in. Yes. 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 Yeah. Yes, yes. Well, you know, yes. It depends, even if the studying is not that expensive, your parents won't give you money just to travel. Most of the time for me, sometimes my parents give me money, but it's mostly like for my birthday or for Christmas, and I have to make use of my money by myself. So if I travel, I prefer traveling cheap. Um, yes. Yes, yes, you need to manage your money. So it's good to travel cheap. But I don't use couch surfing just for that. I use it most of the time to meet people and discover different cultures and discover different things, different food, and yeah, different way of living. Yes, yeah, yes, yes, yes. Yes, and even if I am not couch surfing or living at someone's place, I always go to meetings. I use a lot the app Meetup, and no couch surfing meeting, but also the app Meetup. And I go to meetings like international meetings. Like when I was in Korea, yes, language exchange and things like that. In Korea, a lot of Korean people try to learn English to travel or just for business. And so they go to language exchange, and you can meet a lot of locals too that are really open-minded because they want to learn about a different language. So yeah. So even if I don't do couch surfing, I use this kind of meetings. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The problem with couch surfing is I can only use it if I'm alone, if I'm traveling alone. But if you're traveling with friends, it's not really easy to use. Yes, yes. Even yes, yes. I use hostels too a lot. Yes, yes, yes. For me, I think it's really easy nowadays to meet local people when you travel, especially if you're traveling alone. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know, but I guess I have more experience. No, I want to. It's not in the EU, but it's also cheap to go there because it's still in Europe. But it's cheap to go there, but you need a visa to go there, I think. So yes, 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 and like most of the yes, but they don't live everywhere. I don't know at all. I don't know anything about Russia, so I don't really know. I never traveled there, so I don't really know. But I know they have, like, they don't live everywhere in Russia because it's too cold. Um, so there are some big cities, and they live near these cities. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Mm, yes. 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 Guns and yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, we like to do things like that in France. We have a lot of things that are built in France, like fighter jets are built. Like our our jets are all French, in France. We don't really buy from other countries for our army. We like to do it ourselves. No, no, it's okay. Yeah, yeah. Go on. No, no, it's okay. I have everything if I need something. Yes, yes. Flight is very expensive when you change continent. Yeah, yeah. Yes, I don't really know. Sometimes, yes, yes, yes. Yeah. I think I think nowadays you can find French people anywhere. Like everywhere I travel, I find French people. So yeah. So I know a lot about Germany because I have a lot of friends there and I traveled there a lot of times. Um, and for long periods of times. Germany and France, the mentality is not very different. We're a really close country and we have a good relationship. So no, the culture is a bit different, but from another, like for us it feels different, but it's not as different as if I go to Africa or Asia or South America. um and the food is like they have their food, we have our food, but for foreigners I guess it tastes the same. So Germany and France are really close. Yeah, it's not that different. But you can find things that you will only find in Germany, and you can find things that you will only find in France. So I guess in Europe it's like that. We have a lot of things, a lot of common points, but we also have a lot of differences. So it's really good when you travel to Europe to travel to a lot of different places. Yes. Oh, in France, you can never recognize anyone. In France, you can never recognize anyone from just the face. Um, if you come to France, if you don't talk, I could think you're French. We have Indian people in France that are French, so we don't know. We can't know. But when I was in Ireland, uh, I could know if the person was Irish or not just by seeing them. Yes, but in France, you can never do that. Yes, yes. In Germany, it's a bit different because in France, we have people from all over the world. Like all over the world. Like we have a lot of Asian people, we have a lot of African people. So um, in Germany, they have mostly the majority are of foreign origins are from Turkey. So it's a bit different. But in France, it's really from everywhere. I don't know. No. Italy. Yeah, Italy. Oh, I get confused all the time. I never distinguish. Like I can recognize, I can see a difference between Japanese people and Thailandese or Vietnamese, but I never see the difference between Japanese and Korean. Oh, don't put that anywhere because Korean people don't like Japanese people. But for example, between Thailandese people or Vietnamese people, I don't really see the difference. And I'm sorry, but it's the same for me. It's because I'm from France and people are French, even if they have different origins. So I can never know where people are from, you know. They can be from France for me. No, no, yeah. Yes, yes. So I never know. I never know. I'm not good at that. I know some people who can recognize all the time, but I'm really not good at that. For me, everybody. It's the same in Europe. You know, I can't recognize if people are from this country or this country. You know, I don't recognize origins. I think it's because I had a lot of different people growing up with me. My friends were all from different had we had all different origins. So for me, there was no difference between the origins, and I never cared about origins. So I guess it's it's hard for me to differentiate people, you know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't care about asking about my origins because, yeah, yeah. I think between German and France, you can't recognize. I don't think you can recognize. And between maybe, I don't know, but I think it's really hard to recognize anyone from France, you know, because yes, there are no, there are really not a lot of people actually French. Even me, I'm not totally French, so there's not a lot of people who are really like totally French and no other origins. So I think you can't recognize a French person just by seeing them. And I think it's the same a bit in Germany or in England. In England, I don't know. In Ireland, you can recognize just by the face, but in France, no. No, no, they're not tall. They're quite short actually, but they have something like they are most of the time they have a bird and it's a bit curly sometimes a bird and all a bit reddish sometimes and I don't know, you can recognize them, you know, it's go to Ireland and you will see, just try in the street, oh, here's Irish, she's not Irish, or things like that. You will see it's, yeah, it's really easy. You can't do that. Yeah, I don't really know about that because I was doing a scientific thing in. I don't know about Ireland in other countries. Is it really popular in India, for example, going to Ireland or? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. 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 Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Oh, okay. Because in UK, you have a large community of Indian people, because it was, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. 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 Oh, yes. Yeah. So nowadays, there's not a lot of people going there from India. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. Okay. Yes. Just go to France. I don't know if you'll find a job in France, but you can study for free. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Yes. 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 The difference is with Germany is that in Germany, even if you don't speak German, everybody can speak English. No, it's okay because everybody can speak English actually in Germany, and you can even study in English. Whereas in France, bachelor degree is always in France, in French. You can study in English in master degree, but bachelor degree is always in French. So you have to be able to speak French fluently. You have to pass a test to show that you can speak French to get into a bachelor degree in France. But for master degree it's easier because a lot of master degree are in English right now. So yes, yeah, yes, yeah. Oh, okay. Yes, yeah, yes, right, yeah. In France, we often stay in France for our studies because it's cheap, you know. We do only exchange students for one semester or things like that. But most of the time we stay in France. It's really easy to get in. You just have to graduate high school and you can go to any university in France, and it's free. And it's easy to graduate bachelor degree. It's a bit more complicated for a master degree, but for a bachelor degree, it's easy. So we just stay in France to study. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's hard to get in and it's hard to graduate. Yes. 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 It's the same in Korea actually. They study all the time until the end of high school. And at the end of high school, they have to pass a test. They have to take an exam to enter the university. And they are ranked on this exam, and they can choose, like the first one can choose where he wants to go and what he wants to study, and then the second, and the third. So people don't have a life until this exam, you know. And even in university, there are some people who don't really care anymore, and there are some people who study all the time. And then they graduate, and then they have to find a job, and then they work all day long, and they never have a life, you know. In France, we don't really study before the end of high school, and then we graduate high school, we go to a university, and then we don't really study anymore. No, so we never study in France, you know. No, no. Oh, okay, it's really complicated. um Normally to go to a university, no, it's free, and you just have to graduate high school to get into a university in France. But we have other kinds of schools, which are engineering schools or management schools. And for these schools, you have to take classes for 2 to 3 years, really intense classes where you work all the time and you have a competitive exam at the end, and you can enter the school you want if you succeed. So, but it's really, really hard to get in and everything. And it takes a long time, studying for 2 to 3 years all the time, really intense. And then you take an exam and you're not sure you're going to get it, so it's really intense. If you don't get a school and you've done that, most of the time you can enter in third year of university. Yes. So I have to stop here because I'm feeling really sick right now. We can just do something more next week, maybe, or I don't know. Yes, yes, no problem. I'll tell you because I'm going to Denmark on Tuesday, and I'm coming back next Tuesday. So maybe after that. Yes. Okay, good. Yes, right. Yes, no problem. Thank you. Yeah. Bye.